Well, hey there, this is Jerry with What's Broke Today, and today we're getting started on part two of replacing the camshaft, timing chain, variable valve timing sprockets, and everything on our 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Let's get after it. All right, went to the local U-pull place and got an exhaust camshaft, and the part of me trying to get that pin out, we skipped that. I'm not even going to put that in the video because there's a bunch of waste of time. But what I'm going to start out with, I'm just going to loosen all the 10 millimeter headed bolts and then switch over and loosen all the 12 millimeters. Oh, helps if I grab a 12 millimeter socket. Yeah, I just grabbed the wrong socket. So I just want to loosen all of these. And I'm going to take them out with my cordless ratchet. And how I'm going to judge what I loosen is based on where the lobes of the cam are. Because see, lobes up, lobes kind of up. And actually that one, no big deal. Actually, I don't think it's a big deal with either one. They're both kind of at a semi-rest position anyway. But regardless, I'm going to start out with the 10s. Okay. And then for sure here at the front two, I can loosen all 6 of those. All right. Now these need to go back exactly where I take them off. So I'm going to shut the lid of my toolbox. I'm going to lay a shop rag out. And I'm going to pull them off one at a time and go lay them on a shop rag. So I'm just going to start out of here at the front and just wiggle that a little and pull it up. And I'm going to keep everything in order. And there's arrows on these. And actually, let me pull this off. You don't necessarily have to remember where they go because they are marked, because there's 2 and toward the front, 3 front, 4 front, 5 front. So, but I still like to take them off and lay them in somewhat of an order. Then once I get all those out of the way, I can just grab this camshaft, lift it up out of there, and I can show you where that pin is in there. What I tried to do was cut a slot in it and turn it with a screwdriver, and I did, but it just went deeper in the hole. Okay. And then the camshaft I went and got at the junkyard. Notice the hole is wide open. And these other 4 holes are the oil lines that line up in here for our solenoid to activate the variable valve timing. And I'm just going to lay that down in there. And if you actually look, there's a dot on top of the camshaft, and we always want that pointing up. And since I washed that off with brake clean, for the heck of it, I'm going to pour some oil down on everything, just so everything's coated. And we'll start at the rear. And I do this kind of in a fairly quick so I don't get dirt in anything. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure I got all my bolts started. And see, this thing, I don't think it's had regular oil changes because we got more wear on things than I like. but it's got a lot of miles. So the thing is, the engine I took that camshaft out of, got me curious why that car wasn't wrecked. So I'm kind of curious why that thing ended up in the pick and pull yard. Because it actually, what I took it out of was a Kia Soul. Well, I can't remember what year, but because they use this motor in the Hyundai Elantras. I'd have to go look it up again, what years. But it was like, 11, 12, 13, 14 Elantras maybe. And the Kia Souls in the same years. And then they also put it in the Kia Forte in like 14, 15, maybe 16. And I just found that out from just doing my basic research looking up parts. Because there are some of the websites where they have a compatibility checker. Some of these lower ones I have to turn the bolts in a little slower because I got oil down in the holes. Now I'm just going to take my cordless ratchet and I'm going to run these down close but not do any tightening. Now since I don't need a bunch of torque, I get everything down where it's close and ready for torque. Now we definitely want to follow the torque sequence, which easiest thing, you just Google or use your search deal and ask, say, hey, what's the torque spec or the sequence? Because with all this new AI stuff, it really it works good. And we're going to start out following the torque sequence is doing the 8mm bolts with the 12mm heads first. And when I looked it up, it said that those were, I'm going to do the max, which is 16 foot-pounds. Set it up, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then we start doing the other ones. Because I don't have the torque set up real high, you don't really hear this wrench click, but I can feel it. All right, and then when we come to the 10mm headed bolts, they are 10. Or like 8 point something to 10. It'll be the same thing, it'll just be I don't know if I like that. So we're going to do something different. We're going to go to our other torque wrench. 10 inch-pounds, or 10 foot-pounds is 120 inch-pounds. 120. Oh, yeah. Good thing I did that, because okay, so that's good there. And of course, when you're done, always back off your torque wrench. Now we'll go through and check all these others again. Okay, there's that. Now the next thing I want to do just for the heck of it is I'm going to take my wrench, put on that cam I just put in there, and make sure it rotates, turns smooth. Okay, they both turn smooth. So now we're to a point we're ready to put the try and do the timing chain again. I have my sprockets and my tensioner in hand, and let's start out with we're going to line up the gold thing on the intake cam. Line up the gold one on the exhaust cam. And I got the intake cam all the way in there. I'll put my bolt in. Let's see. Come down around the crankshaft. I'll get the bolt for my exhaust started. Now can't tighten the exhaust one up yet because the cam's not lined up right for the pin that goes in the front of it to go into the front of that camshaft. But what I want to do is and then I want to get my fixed guide and get it in there. And get the bolts for it started. And make sure there ain't no dirt on your bolts when you're putting them in. But now these probably you could torque them, but I don't know if you have to. But you want them about the same, 16 foot-pounds since they're 8mm headed bolts. Okay. Come down here, pull that up, get that started in its hole. Depending on who you watch, a lot of people do this different than I do. But see, right now I know I'm at a spot where valves are not touching pistons. There's not a bunch of pressure on anything. Tighten that about the same and make sure it has a little bit of pivot. Okay. And then I'm going to go grab my tensioner. And of course, the piston on the tensioner goes toward that guide. I don't know if these will go in there yet or not, but I'm going to at least try and get one started. Okay, I got the bottom one started. Okay. That's handy. And then I'm going to look at my dots, and I got yellow link and yellow link lined up with yellow dots. And I got I think that's going to pull up where I want it. And now I'm going to take here, I'm going to take the intake cam and take the slack out of it. And I think I jumped the tooth down low. Let me look. Yep, I did. So we'll bring this back. And if I got it where I want it. Yep, that's in the right place. Okay. Now the fun stuff. Get a different adjustable wrench. I need two 1-inch wrenches. So I take the slack out there. I can rotate the exhaust camshaft till that will slide on. I can turn that tensioner. Okay. Okay, I got both my tensioner bolts started. I'll take my ratchet and snug them up. And snug them up evenly, and that looks good. And then I got gold link, yellow dot, gold link, yellow dot. Gold link and dot underneath. And I'm going to pull this pin out. And that'll set our tensioner. Spring-loaded part of it. Because this little thing is what holds that tensioner in until you're ready to set it. And I always keep those because you never know when you might need to use it again later. And now I'm going to take my torque wrench, set it to 50 foot-pounds, 14 millimeter socket, and then use my wrench to hold the cam, and definitely make sure you torque these. Do not hit them with just whatever you think sounds good. But the main key is minimal turning of things till you get the chain set, because you don't want the chain and the cams turning independently. Okay. Okay, our chain is on there. All right, so you can see I got the yellow dot and the gold link, yellow dot and the gold link, tensioner in there and pin pulled, both guides installed. And come down here one last time, and you see, I don't know if you can, but Got the dot and the gold link lined up, so we're in good shape. The next fun part is got to get the silicone on the front of the motor and get the front cover on, and I need to clean off a little bit more right there. I see something I missed. So I'm going to do my last cleaning and then get ready to put the cover on. All right, getting ready to put the front cover back on. And first thing I did, I took my screwdriver, went from the back side into the front crank seal and knocked it out so it's out of there because I have a new one. Made sure my O-rings were in for the oil pick. I think it's oil pickup and pressure to the engine. I took brake clean, sprayed it on a rag, wiped off all the surfaces. Did the, got even the bolt where the bolts go through. Went through and did a bolt count and verified I had all my bolts. Did the same thing, sprayed down and wiped down the engine block over here, so made sure it was ready. And then rechecked all my bolts. I know I torqued these for sure. I went ahead and put the wrench back on the fixed guide, the pivot for the tensioner guide, and also on the tensioner. The little spot down there that I needed to scrape, I scraped it. And of course, wiped it down and also wiped down the bottom of the block and the top of the head. Of course, verified all my dots lined up. And I went inside and washed my hands because and for this, I'm using Permatex Ultra Black gasket maker. And the reason I clean my hands is I don't want any oil or grease on my hands, because I'm actually going to, where I can, I'm going to put it on the block, but then I'm going to spread it with my fingers. And I'm going to start on the bottom and come up as far as I can, and I'm going to come to the top and come the rest of the way. Make sure I got everything coated good. Hit my bolt holes here good. Just make sure I got a good coating. And then the fun part's getting the cover back down through there. If I get ready to put the cover in, I'll restart the camera because I'm not going to worry about trying to videotape me putting my RTV silicone on. All right, I got silicone applied. Wiped off my fingers as best I could. Did use a strap to kind of pull the motor forward a little. Couple of these two, I did put a little silicone on those and around where those pins were at. And now the fun part. Okay, I'm going to adjust my jack down here just a little because I'll make sure. Because, yeah, what's hanging me up now is where I'm lined up with the crankshaft, and there I go. Okay. I had to turn the oil pump just a little bit. Now I'm going to start putting bolts in. I was putting them through the holes and trying to get them started. So I'm going to do all I can from the bottom, then come up top. And the longest 14s. I got left is to start that one. And I'll do it from the bottom. I think it'll be easier. Dog. No, no, no. No. Curtis. Dog is going on a licking binge. Curtis. I'll take my light, look up from the bottom, just stay back. Curtis, no. Make sure my O-rings are still in place. Okay, they both look good. Dog! No, I don't need licked. Every time I get down on the ground, the dog goes nuts with his tongue, licking me. Okay. Okay. Grab all my sockets. I'm going to go underneath and just, I'm pulling everything up close, but not tightening anything yet. Okay. Come back to the top. I can get on that 114 from up here, maybe. Maybe not. Now I'm going to tighten up these 14s. Now I'm going to go to 12s. Oh, there's one I hadn't run in very far yet. Okay, now underneath and finish up my bottom ones. Okay, so I got my 1/4 inch ratchet with the 10 millimeter. And okay. Oh, I did get it tight. That's probably the worst part of the whole job is dealing with that timing cover. I'm going to put my crank seal in now. So I'm going to grease up the inside of this lip. And I'm going to see if I got a socket that's the right size for that. Okay, and just take it. Just need to coat the inside of that so it lubricates the pulley as it's spinning inside the seal. Just get a nice coating inside of there. Okay, and I got my seal. Lay it up there. And then this, I was looking for something that's about the right size, is a crankshaft holder for a Honda. We're taking a crank pulley bolt loose. It's easier to probably just push that in with my fingers. Okay. Okay, and then there's a pin that's got to line up with the pulley. I gotta get my impact. I'm gonna tighten that with my impact gun, because that'd be a pain in the butt trying to hold. I don't really have anything suitable to hold that pulley that won't damage it. I need something with fingers that'll stick in here, kind of like a spanner wrench. I'm gonna see if I can get my pulley for my water pump on that pulley while I'm here. Oh. Okay. And I just, since I had this upper motor mount in, I was just pushing the um, engine toward the um, driver's side of the car. Okay, there's one started. And what I did was grab an 11 millimeter, put over a bolt, and then wedge it up against the one right next to it. Okay. Next thing is alternator. I get my long bolt first. Then I got that nut thing pushed farther back than I did. Okay. Okay. Here's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick my belt down through there. I'm going to tighten the crank pulley before I tighten the belt. Reach through the wheel well and get it on the AC compressor. And then the crankshaft pulley. And I'm going to take my 22 and put my gun on level 3. I gotta let the engine down a little because I lifted it up. Now I can't get my impact in there. Okay. Okay, next thing, motor mount. Okay, now I can take my jack out from underneath. I'll be able to finish cleaning up to put the oil pan on. And get the alternator belt tight and tighten the alternator. There's the battery wire. And we can plug the activation wires and snap that back in. And I think it's brake time. But we gotta get the valve cover back on. Swap out our solenoids, front and rear. Put the oil pan back on it, all the stuff underneath. I'll probably do the oil pan next because I want to pour an oil down this chain really good before I put the valve cover on. Because it's got a little oil on it, but I want to make sure all the gears, everything's lubed good, and there's good oil on the guides. Okay. Time to get the jack out of here. Okay, we're going to start out with, I'm going to wipe some residual oil off. And I got to... Okay, and once I get it somewhat clean, I spray some brake clean on a rag, wipe it down. Okay. The next thing we'll do is get our oil pickup tube installed. Of course, I wiped it down and washed it out with brake clean as well. Has a new gasket. Yes, and actually, I did not have to take the pickup tube off. I didn't figure that out until I'd already taken it off, so now I'm just now putting it back on. Now I'm gonna wipe the oil pan down with brake clean, and then let it dry for a second, and then I'm gonna put silicone on it, and then we'll come back and put it on. Now we're back, and I'll get all my pan bolts pulled up here, and I'm just gonna take the pan and stuck up there. All right. Now, only thing I left down here is splash shield and an oil filter. I'm going to get ready so we can go up top and put a valve cover on. All right. Now I'm going to just bring my oil and come up here and want to get it on the timing chain, those sprockets. Avoid the spark plug holes. Okay. That should get all that coated good. Reattach the horn. Put the ground strap back on. Swapped out my valve cover gasket and the little rubber O-ring things. I'm just going to take a little bit of oil, get on my finger, and put some on these spark plug hole grommets just so they slide on easier. And it don't need very much. Then make sure it's all in place, and then here, line her up. Oh, and of course the bolt you stuck in earlier to hook your strap to. Okay, I got everything in place. Just slide that over and push it down, and then we can get these started. Plugging on my camshaft sensors, and I put the hoses back on. Let's see. Okay, let me get my ratchet. Let's tighten up the valve cover. Okay, well, I wasn't paying attention to my camera and the battery went dead, so the camera shut off. So what you missed was I plugged in the other coil wire, put the clamps back up on these vent hoses. I think this is a PCV valve because it goes down to the intake. While I was up at the pick and pull yard, those people must think those go bad a lot, this thing that's screwed in, because every time I raised the hood, that was gone. And I've never changed one ever. But and I changed out the solenoids for the variable valve timing, and that's just a 10 millimeter, and pull it out, take the new one, put a little oil on the O-ring, push it in. Same thing on the back, 10 millimeter headed bolt, little oil on the O-ring, push it in, plug the wires back in. I dumped almost the rest of my oil back into it. That I think I may need more, because since I had the oil pan off, I got every drop of oil out of there. Actually, before I started, I was going to let the silicone set up overnight. I really should have waited to put the oil in. Oh, and I did put the oil filter on, and I poured oil in the oil filter and filled it, because what, the less time it's dry with oil, with not having oil, the better. Since I had everything apart. Yeah, think about it, all I got left is splash shields on the bottom, which I'm not going to run the camera for that. My cover that goes on top here that just snaps on these 4 points, that ain't no big deal. I hooked the battery back up, and I'll have to get my scanner out, and I might have to clear codes again, because even though I had the battery disconnected, it don't always clear the codes. So, but regardless, we're virtually done. That I don't have no leftover parts other than my old used parts. So we'll just take a break from the camera till I I get ready to start this tomorrow. Okay, well, I come out, everything on our Hyundai's put together, oil is full. I brought my scanner out, and now's the true test. I'm gonna start the car. And something I probably don't need to worry about, but it's like anytime you do major work like this, it is kind of oh, a little nerve wracking when you first, start the vehicle. I'm gonna let my scanner come up. I'm gonna clear all my codes before I start it. I have no codes, and here we go. Gotta tighten the alternator belt. Oh, acts like it's missing. I wonder if I knocked a wire off. All right, everything looks good so far. Where CVVT state is enabled, our degrees on our cams have been changing. Okay, well, I got off the jack stands, got the tire and wheel back on it. I'm thinking when I first started it up, when I had the camshaft out, I bet you, a lifter popped up and it had to bleed back oil to get the right valve lash, because now it's idling good. I got the alternator belt tight. Next step is actually take it for a test drive and see how it runs. So let me get some stuff together and let's go drive. Okay, we're in our Hyundai. The idle seems good. I got the AC on. It's blowing nice and cool. Turn our headlights on. It looks like it's about ready to start raining. But the first overall major noticeable difference when I go to take off here is, even though we still have a little bit of a rough idle, our idle is about 700, 750 on the gauge. And yeah, definitely a lot better than it was originally. So I should have brought the camera for the initial test drive, because the get up and go was a lot more get up and go. And there's just enough rain coming down that it I run the wipers, it smeared mud, and the right hand wiper still didn't clear very good even with running washer fluid. But at least the driver's side takes care of 3/4 of the windshield. Did real good. But in the overall, the engine does seem to be performing okay. come up here, and so there's no cars behind me, and we're just going to come up here and stop. And the idle state about 750. This car actually doesn't drive that bad. I'm running about 50 miles an hour. Got no unusual noises or vibrations. Well, I'll say this is going to wrap up this episode of What's Broke today. That got the Hyundai all back together, running good, driving good. Idles just like it should. I mean, for 48,000 miles, it runs really good. My only concern is it was a little low on oil when it got here, so I don't know how long she drove it on that oil change. So I'm gonna tell her to definitely check the oil occasionally, just to make sure it's, if it is burning oil, that we keep it full. But hey, regardless, hey, I do appreciate everybody that's watching, and hey, anybody out there's not a subscriber, better join on in, because I'll tell them what else you're gonna see on What's Broke today. Thank you.